You ever heard the saying, never rob a bank across from a diner that has the best donuts in 3 counties?
That's not a saying.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I get what you're saying,
Maybe you
but it's
never
not
heard.
a saying.
It is a saying.
Okay.
It's a saying now. Go! Everybody sit down on the floor.
Fire in the hole! Let's go, come on! How much you figure?
40 million.
$40 million?
But I got bad news for you.
What is that? Is that a badge in your hand?
DEA.
Mark Wahlberg and Uncle Denzel. You know, I call him Uncle now.
You know, that's actually a perfect name for him.
Man, Uncle Denzel, because now you know Leon more than anything. He's every uncle, every black uncle you had. He's your drunk uncle, like he was in Flight, just can't stop fucking drinking. He was your uncle that drove you around town and fucked with you all the time.
Sure.
He even dresses like your drunk uncle, where he's wearing the fedoras now.
Well, that's what. Well, right now, that's what he is. He's your cat daddy uncle. You know, the one that come in, but like, hey, boy, what you doing? Come here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry, because now he's hanging out with Mark Wahlberg and 2 guns in 1 cup. So, dirtiest movie I've ever seen in my life.
You know, I don't want to watch it, but I can't help myself.
Mark Wahlberg,
Don't download that, Corey.
For my people, Mark Wahlberg's like your dumb redneck cousin.
Yeah, he is.
You know? It's like, oh, man,
He's
what's
your
going on, man?
He's your uncle's dealer.
Well, it seems like Denzel Washington has been running like a bootstrap program for young white actors who can't quite get a leg up. It's like, hey, kid, you need a #1 hit. Team up and be my buddy.
Exactly.
I might put you through some paces and kick your ass, but at the end, you're going to have a #1 hit.
He made Chris Pine a captain. I mean,
It's true. It's true. But now with Mark Wahlberg, he doesn't really need that. He's making #1 movies on his own.
Yeah, that is true. But it still doesn't matter because these days, Denzel Washington needs a white boy to slap around. You know, maybe he'll skip a movie, but he always got to find some white guy. He's like, boy, come here. Have you been in a movie with me? Now you have.
He
Knock him upside his head.
He got that contract that Spike Lee could never get.
Now, go about your business, take your #1 movie, and I'm going to go make something for an Oscar.
As a white person, I'm going to say we take it as an honor to have the shit slapped out of us by Denzel Washington. Yeah. I mean, it's, times have changed.
Yeah, it used to be Eddie Murphy.
Well, especially for you, you just get Corey Coleman like a fourth-rate broke down.
Right?
Washington.
That is not an honor.
Right now, Denzel Washington is walking into a room. He's like, Chris Pine, is that you hide behind there? Well, come here. You can hide from me, but get in the car. Let's go.
Your face ain't ready me.
What's that?
Damn it, I thought he didn't see me. Y'all was supposed to hide me.
Yeah, man, told on me, man.
Get back those rosy red cheeks.
Jason Bateman, what you doing over there? Come here, boy.
Oh, man.
Don't do that to Jason Bateman. He's sensitive. He can't take it.
Shit, man.
Is that Jerry O'Connell back there? Come here.
Man, Shia LaBeouf, you ain't fucked with him yet. But you know what, man?
Shia LaBeouf.
He's been fucked with enough.
Yeah.
Michael Bay done slapped him too many times.
Even Denzel will be like, nah, well, that boy's been slapped enough.
Yeah, once Optimus Prime has slapped your ass around, you don't need Denzel Washington. But this movie right here, it's I like this movie a lot because it's almost like they took this. Now this is the Robert Rodriguez Quentin Tarantino movie that I want to see. It's like they took some of the best parts of a Quentin Tarantino movie along, when you talk about the action and some great scenes
and
that people have together in the dialogue.
The buddy type film.
Yeah, and then you took some of the best action that Robert Rodriguez has done and you put them in this movie, and that's what it seems like to me, and I didn't know this.
And you took out all the references to shit they watched when they were kids.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you know what? No, because one of them, because Quentin Tarantino came in like, hey, man, I read this great comic book, man. Because this is based on a comic book, right?
True, yeah, it is.
Yeah, from Boom Studio.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I have this comic because they sent it to me a long time ago, and I remember flipping through it. I was like,
and I remember wiping my ass with it.
Shit in the trash.
I remember I ran out of toilet paper and I wiped my ass with the pages.
You're laughing, but I was kind of like, this ain't gonna appeal to me.
Well, showed you, didn't it? But in this movie, what you have is you have a DEA agent played by Denzel Washington and an NCIS agent played by Mark Wahlberg, and together they think that they're about to go take down the mob.
Well, they're both undercover.
Yeah.
Think they're playing each other and the Mexican mafia.
Yeah, and then it gets to a point where when they pull out this big bank heist, which they think is part of their whole deal, They realized, oh shit, we ripped off the CIA, and now everybody's like, well, shit, you messes with CIA, we can't do nothing for you, man.
Even the cartel's like, you dumbass.
I was like,
No, stay away from me, seriously.
I was like, when did the CIA become the Galactic Empire?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was wondering.
Welcome to the real world.
But whatever it is, apparently they're the biggest mafia around, because now, since nobody wants to help Mark Wahlberg or Denzel Washington, they say, well, I guess we'll just have to team up together. Well, we didn't like each other. We even shot each other a couple of times, and well, now we got to depend on each other to get ourselves out of this jam. But you know what? It really is something when you see two people. I always like to see. We're making jokes about Denzel Washington slapping people around that he's with, but it's always cool to see who Denzel Washington, who he's going to work with next.
Yeah, and what kind of chemistry they have.
Yeah,
and this is an odd example of a film like that where a lot of times Denzel's just totally the dominant one.
Right.
Not in this case. This is very much a balanced relationship where they're both given such strong character attributes that they just bounce off each other really well that you just love to watch them on screen. And certainly the high points of this film are when it's just the two of them going at each other.
It comes off like these guys have been friends for years.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's due to like just the witty, script that they have with these guys interacting with each other in the dialogue, where I'm like, wow, a lot of this dialogue is just awesome.
So you saying that to say what?
I'm saying it's only because you're hearing it.
No, you saying something. If you saying it, I'm hearing it because you saying it. What are you saying? Let it be said.
Well, I think you're playing me.
Oh, you want to be played?
I've been at your hip for 10 months, but after this, I think maybe you're playing me. I got you.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I did. The corner of your eye was twitching.
The corner.
Yeah.
That wasn't a twitch.
Yeah.
That was a wink.
That's my move.
It is something you miss from Tarantino movies, where it at least feels real and natural, and it doesn't. You're not really getting that sense that you're watching something that is being referenced by something else. I mean, these are like these seem like two very real guys in a very real world, and guys like you'd want to hang out with,
Yeah,
If they weren't shoot me,
If they weren't exactly, if they're not shooting at me, I'm all for that.
Right before you die, you probably laugh pretty hard.
Yeah, you would.
You're like, that was a really funny Bon Mott.
I don't think that the dialogue is as good as it is in a Quentin Tarantino movie. I mean, really, if you didn't have actors like Denzel Washington, Mark Wahlberg, sometimes we talk shit about Mark Wahlberg, but if you give him the right situation, the right movie to be in, he can bring the right attitude to that. And there's other people in the movie too. Bill Paxton is who was he? Was the head of the CIA or something?
Yeah,
Well, at least that division.
Yeah, he's the guy in charge of trying to get the money back.
Yeah, and he's doing whatever he can to get it back. I mean, he's doing mafia shit.
That's the funny thing. Like, we come out and say it's the CIA, but you don't learn that for a while. Mm-hmm. It just seems like he is the biggest, baddest, scariest mobster you could ever have to deal with.
I was going to say, I do give away something that happened like more than 10 minutes of the film. Corey's like, we
so
can't
spoiler.
say that.
We got to cut that out.
This happened like an hour into the film, Corey.
You know what?
They called me the spoiler. Listen to you.
You know what? I was reading Wikipedia today, and they gave a little bit of information away, so I figured.
Wikipedia often has the full synopsis of films,
Wikipedia
Corey.
tell you the entire movie.
That is very
Can
true.
I help it if I soak in information that way?
You have no idea how many movies I haven't actually seen, and I just read them on Wikipedia. That is to say, how often I guessed from the trailer.
I'm surprised they haven't put that shit in Braille, because it is every detail of the film.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, even Bill Paxton, man, this is a movie where I haven't seen him shine in a long time. And you know what? I'll say the same thing for Mark Wahlberg. There's a lot of movies that he's been in recently that I've either tried to ignore or just go, man, he's just kind of been slumming it. It seems like he's just playing the same kind of dull character, just playing himself. But with this, man, I don't know. There was just something about him. Maybe it was the complete chemistry that he was having with Denzel. But man, every time he was on screen, he was like chewing it up.
It's funny because if you looked at the plot of this movie without any of the great dialogue that goes on in it, mm-hmm. It is so much like those run of the mill crime movies that Mark Wahlberg makes all the time.
Yeah,
he
you're
makes
right.
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
He's in it, but he doesn't make a big impression. When it's over, it's like, okay, well, that played out like it did. Somebody asks you about it, you're like, it's all right, I guess.
And that's the biggest problem here for me is that the screen, I mean, it's lit up when it's the two of them on screen when they're doing stuff. You're like, man, they're so funny, I can't take my eyes off them. But the moment that's not what's happening, this film just kind of starts to slowly float away from you as you start to pay attention to what the plot is supposed to be, as convoluted and implausible as it is. And then eventually when it comes to its ending, which is like the most like, fuck it ending I may have ever seen written, we're going to come up with a brilliant plan to do this. And you're like, seriously? That was your plan?
That's sad.
Doesn't even make sense.
That's sad because you're right. When they're not on screen, you really do see the kind of cliched, action
poorly
film
written
that you normally see. It's just that I don't know, man. Like with that ending seems so abrupt and so like, let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
That I was like, man, you guys are building up something, especially with this relationship and these characters interacting with each other, that you just wanted so much more, because there's like 3 different groups of people after these guys. So you're expecting something really epic, or at least somewhat witty, them trying to resolve it, but I didn't get much out of it.
It felt like they're 2 totally different people. The one guy who wrote the plot is a completely different guy from the guy who wrote all the actual character dialogue.
Well, and that's the thing. I think like what y'all are complaining about as far as the plot, that's from the comic book. Okay. It's Stephen Grant who wrote this, and one of the reasons I didn't get super excited about it, because Stephen Grant has always been a competent writer, but never a great one. I mean, he's created some characters, but I can't think of any stories that are great by him. And I know in the original comic, it's just two white characters, and it's just one of those where a lot of those stories that play out, it's like, okay, it's like a screenplay that may never get picked up. Clearly, somebody got to this and said, no, we can really turn this into something, and brought in a writer, at least certainly for the dialogue, who, at times, especially with Mark Wahlberg, reminded me of Joe Lansdale with the stuff that was coming out of his mouth.
It's funny because you're talking about how Mark Wahlberg is in action movies where you say, oh, that's just a regular action movie that I'll forget about with Mark Wahlberg in it. Again, well, this is the same guy that directed Contraband.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just saw that. And I was
trying to say his name, Baltasar.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, Baltasar Kormakura.
Yeah, and Contraband is the perfect example of that. It's the exact one I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's that one that is like this, with this ridiculously overcomplicated plot that you finally just kind of go, whatever. That doesn't have the brilliant dialogue and fun camaraderie that this movie does, which goes to show you, and we've said this before, that type of writing, that dialogue writing, that chemistry on screen can save an otherwise terrible movie completely.
Not only can it save it, I mean, for me, it's the thing that I want the most. I mean, like, you might have a weakness for ghost stories or things with superheroes. For me, if I get some dialogue like this, I'm willing to forgive a lot of stuff.
Very true.
And this is one where I was just like, yeah, you're right. You get to that third act where you're waiting for, okay, how's this going to tie together? And it's almost like it goes like, well, look, it's not really about that.
It's funny you should say that, Leon, because did I say I really like this movie?
Yeah.
I mostly like this movie. Because I'm not challenging you. I'm not personal already. Look at the
he had to dip his,
don't tell me your problems.
I know.
He had to dip his toe in the water of the room first. Like the temperature.
I'm just saying. I was going to say it anyway.
You know that meal you made, Leon, when I told you it was really good?
I only made it because you said you were hungry, but fine.
And I did kind of wait to see you complain, Cyrus, before I brought it up.
Well, we had talked about this.
I don't understand why I'm the focus in this
because
review.
You know why? Because you're not fair, man. You let him get by with saying he doesn't like something. You pat him on the back. If I say I don't like something that you like, you chew my head off, man.
Corey, you think that after all this time, when
you're doing it now,
when you said, what was that you said? Like, I mostly like this movie. Yeah, I knew what you were going to say. I know you.
You don't know me.
He says he can read you like a book, Corey. Book of Corey.
He says that after I said what I said.
He said he already read that chapter.
You don't know me. You thought I loved this movie.
And not even for a second.
Breaking your heart right now, sweetheart. Breaking your heart.
I know. He was looking so forward to this review.
I know.
Leon.
He was waiting to see that look of a cracked mirror on my face when you're like, well, I hate to tell you this.
You should have seen me
but
today.
I didn't quite love the movie like you did.
How do I break it to him?
What?
He's waiting for you to go, my whole life has been a lie.
But I thought you and we had something special.
And yet it sounds like we're all more or less on the same page.
Well, you know what? The thing is that I agree with you. I am really not. It's not that I think that ending is weak. I'm irritated by it because that's where they do all that posturing that I see in action movies. Now, we talk about like a Robert Rodriguez action film. It gets to a point where the action just becomes ridiculous and it starts repeating all these cliches that we see done in action movies. Throwing the light over the shoulder and letting an explosion happen. They just slowly walk away.
Denzel did it.
That's what I'm saying. He did it in this. He did it. He's done it a lot of times.
It was your mental.
He's even ripping himself off now, and I don't. And that's something that I don't
knows,
know.
baby.
But
Are you trying to break his heart, Corey?
He originated that. He gets to do it.
Well, here's the other thing: is like they come in, they have an ending where they, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's one of those endings where, one person's playing another, and then it ends with two guys in the middle of a big shootout with their shoulders to each other, going around in a circle. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Not only did you not know how to end this, maybe they did in a comic book, and if I read that comic, I'd be like, y'all didn't know how to end this. But not only did they not know how to end it, but they had to just cover themselves up with all these action cliches. And now that you guys mention it, when I think about it, when Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg are not on the screen, I begin to see some actors who, they're not bad actors, but they're not there to serve too much of a purpose except for, being a type.
Getting slapped around.
Yeah, Paula, what's her name? Paula Patton. She's just there to show her tits and.
Thank
be
God.
sexy.
Yes.
And not that I have a real
Thank
problem.
God.
Well,
I've been waiting for that chick for so damn long to get naked on the screen. I mean, I swear to God.
well, here's the problem with that is that she's, they introduce her, but she's a. She's in one of those roles where she's a woman of authority, but doesn't exercise any authority except to just come in and fuck somebody. That's it.
Just show up nude.
Yeah,
with
show up nude
Denzel.
and have sex with somebody, and that's it. James Marsden is in it.
Yeah, who's like, why did you even get James Marsden for this? They gave him nothing really to do.
Nothing
I
to
was
do.
like,
with,
put your visor back on and be Cyclops,
yeah,
please.
nothing to do except be somebody that goes up against somebody else. I'm not going to say what it
I did
is.
like Colonel Adama in this as the Mexican drug lord. That,
Wait, who?
Colonel Adama?
Edward James.
Edward
Oh, well, I know it's Edward. I
He's
knew it was
the
Edward.
lead, the Colonel Adama on Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, see, now you're talking that nerd shit, man.
Yeah,
talk English to me,
come
man.
on.
Talk English to
I'll
me.
talk your nerd shit. He was Gumby.
No, Edward James almost is great in this.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I thought he was, and there's a joke in here. I'm not gonna say where it is, but there's a joke in here where Mark Wahlberg is fucking with him. He calls him something, and man, I laughed my ass off.
I've been watching that guy for years and stuff, and it never occurred to me. I was like, oh my God, you just nailed that.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, wow, I could watch this whole movie with just Mark Wahlberg cutting down people throughout the entire movie, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, man. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. It's just I'm really disappointed. It's, again, one of those movies where there's so much good stuff happening, and then they just drop the ball at the end because they just don't know what else to do, and it irritates me to no end. I see it way too much these days. Can I get my rating now?
Go for it.
Can I? I don't want to hurt your feelings, Leon.
Damn.
Wait, let me go get my Kleenex.
Yeah, you should. Can I get you something
and,
first?
and a bucket to vomit.
You want a
in.
drink or something before I get my rating?
Got Leon on a tightrope right now.
Hey, man, you gave the Smurfs a rental. No matter what you say.
Oh, see, no. Man, I can go through history and pick out some shit that you done gave ratings to. Don't you fuck with me.
Let me get out the Leon scrolls,
You know
Corey.
what?
You're not in purpose of history either.
At this point, you and I are the same person, man, all right? We are no better than each other. Learn that quick. Matinee for this.
Wait, did you just say
give me-
matinee?
Oh, my God, here comes the captain, yes.
No. I'm just shocked because you never. Oh wait, you always give everything a matinee. Never mind.
Unless it's Smurfs.
Didn't you give that a matinee? I'm pretty
I
sure
was,
you
but I
did.
changed my mind last night.
Well, if I was an 8
I didn't want to hurt you too bad, man. I wasn't going to give it a matinee. I want to make you cry.
He really wanted to until you guessed what he was going to give.
Yeah, exactly. I saw
Yeah,
a
I
hurt on your
quit.
face.
Well, clearly I like the movie better than you. Although everything you're saying is true. I mean, it's not to such an extreme degree, but it's similar to how it felt with Now You See Me, where it's like, man, this is so much fun. And at the end, it's like, dang, that really kind of fell apart. Except, I mean, this doesn't match up like it should. Whereas, Now You See Me, that just completely, like, the more you thought about it, it's like, the fuck was that?
That was dumb.
Yeah, but
Gave it a full price.
That's right.
yeah, no, and I stick by that because up until that point, it was extremely entertaining, and this was the same way, except, even more so. It gave me the kind of stuff I want. I'm not sure about these moments where Mark Wahlberg or Denzel Washington aren't on screen. It seems like one of them is on screen at all times.
No.
But
No.
Okay.
When they're both in the bathroom. No, it's like,
Can I also name somebody else that they wasted? I'll let you continue. Fred Ward.
Yeah, who's barely in this too? You're like,
barely in
hey,
this.
look, it's Fred Ward, and there he goes.
And
He went to go use the
You
bathroom.
guys are hilarious. Like the part's not even supposed to be a big part, and they get a guy in there. It's like, well, that was a waste. It's like,
Then get somebody else.
They're supposed to get the key grip, walking around. Some dude with duct tape. Like,
Yes.
hey, get over here and put this uniform on,
Yeah, they
so we
could
can
have
film
spent
you.
that money on somebody to rewrite the last third of this movie.
I
And
agree.
You gotta stay true to your source. But it's you know what? It's the kind of movie that after summer fatigue, this is what I've been wanting to see, something like this. And for me, it was a big surprise. I wasn't expecting a lot from it. Had a great time. I wouldn't even mind seeing it again. It's a low full price.
You know what I don't like? I don't
Me.
like not necessarily you.
I know, me and the horse I rode in on.
I'm
I
just
get
gonna
it.
say this.
We
real-
get it.
I'm just gonna say this real quick. I really don't like when somebody looks at me and says, "You know what? I agree with everything you say," and then gives it a different rating than I do. That's disrespectful.
No, unlike you, I can see your point and still see more beyond what you're saying.
Not me.
No, I know. No, that's.
He tried to say, see how wrong you are.
Yeah,
I know. I know. But I'm gonna be mature
when
here.
you just said not me, that was my opening statement.
Yeah, mature. That's what I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Is it really mumbling while I
sure to
talk?
spell it
That's
right
me
this
mature.
time.
You want to stick your tongue out at me while I turn my head too?
I
mean, I know how classy you are.
Yeah, you gave me right on.
Keep your
ready to
head
go.
up high, Corey.
So, Cyrus, well, you got something to say, man?
You know, Corey, I agree with everything you said. But now I'm going to tell you why you're totally wrong.
But as long as you rate it the same way as I do, I'll be all right.
Actually, I agree with pretty much all of your points, really. I think that even more, a little bit more detailed on that, I think that it's not just the end where it goes wrong. There's points where it's like, okay, now it's time for us to be a stylish action movie. At points, it gets so silly, you're like, I like it better when it just felt down to earth. You know what I mean? I like that movie a lot better than the film you're trying to do, the big style action movie. And the end is just the most, egregious example of that, really. I think it should be a rule. If you're going to try and set up a really complicated plot, you have to have a clever and plausible ending to match that complicated plot. Just having them go, fuck it, shoot everybody. I'm sorry. It doesn't work.
Hey, maybe
you don't get
it
that.
started out as a fucking shoot everybody movie, and then somebody said like, hey, let's write some clever stuff in the beginning.
There's way more than 2 guns in this movie.
The math here is all wrong.
Right, co-host. Yeah, no, you're
I don't
absolutely
get this
right.
title.
I give it a rental.
But I did laugh all the way through this film. I had a lot of fun with it. Every time I was starting to get a little bored, and that's about the worst that it gave me, is a little bored, it would win me back with some really clever and funny bits. And the chemistry between them is so great. I really hope they team these two up again, if not in a two-gun sequel, then anything else, quite frankly. Anything as long as they're cast as people on that same sort of equal ground. Actually going to give this a high matinee.
All right.
I agree with
Is
you.
that close enough to you, Corey?
That's
acceptable.
that's
I don't know.
respect right there. You see?
It's close to me too.
Oh, I'm right in the middle.
So then,
it would be.
I like he just stuck his tongue out at me. For those who don't know, who can't see this, he actually stuck his tongue out at me.
Nobody
I wouldn't do that because I got too much class.
Maybe he's thirsty. I don't know.
And breath smell like ass.
Well, it would be interesting to see these guys in a movie. Call it 3 guns and have them fight over that one extra gun. And I'm sure that'd be all kinds of comedy hijinks just waiting for us. But yeah, I mean, I agree with almost everything you guys said and a little bit more. So I'm giving it a matinee.
Wait, you agree with a little bit more that we didn't say?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with your body language.
You know what, co-host? Let's go for a ride, man. Let me be your Uncle Denzel a little bit.
What I ever do to you besides shoot me?
Playtime's over. Have I properly incentivized you?
More than you know. Make it rain. You're my people and there's a code. You fight for the guy that's fighting next to you. Give me the keys. You want them? Come get them. Oh, man! That was uncalled for. Give me the keys. You saw that move coming? That's correct. Give me the keys.